Hi, YouTube. I know there's nobody there yet, but two people are here, and wherever there's two, we got us a meeting. Oh, I'm gonna try to get comfortable. Seems like if I get my legs under me.
I don't look too comfortable.
Okay. Alright, YouTube. I'm gonna get my laptop out so that I can see the comments better. How's YouTube? How's the audience out there?
Yeah, you can't see the comments from here.
Hello, Jax and Michael, Tim. Hello, Jax. Whoa! If I'm feeling better, Tim, then I'm not sure if I'm still struggling to get comfortable, you know? Tomorrow we got a crane job, so I'm hoping tomorrow I can have a miracle. Luckily, I just got to stand there. Brett Parker's been home making, no, not home. He's just been making man glitter sawdust. Diesel Parker, we're great. How you doing? I'm feeling happy. Something made me happy today, and I can't remember what it was. Oh. It's odd, but yesterday when I was on the excavator and I shouldn't have been, my 1-year-old got loose and out into the yard, and he came up behind me while I was working, and I turned around and I saw him, and I was like, oh my goodness. Nothing mattered to me anymore. I was just so thrilled that my little guy was...
He was right behind you?
Yeah. I was so thrilled that he was okay. I was like, I will take stupid back pain any day of the week over any kind of real tragedy. That little guy, man, he needs a bodyguard. He needs a bubble and a helmet and an angel or 10. He's something. He is wild. He's there in his socks. It's a big piece of property too, you know. So he got out and then about, and it only takes a second, and he's gone. He's up on the counter trying to find the knives.
That was today?
That was yesterday. So anyway, this morning I was just especially grateful for stupid, easy first world problems like, oh no, what if I can't climb no more? Stuff like that.
Huh.
Because, you know, some of those YouTube channels that I was mentioning before that I watched, where they're channels that are people that are paralyzed. They have YouTube channels. And they talk about their accident and how life changed, and it's like intriguing to me. That's like, what goes when you're an athlete, like a climber, person who makes their money climbing trees and stuff is an athlete. They're paid, a paid athlete. And it kind of imprints, it kind of is like a persona, it's who you are. And it's tied up with your purpose and your reason for living or whatever, and your joy. And when you're hammered, when your ability to do what your vocation or what you feel like your calling is, like this one lady, she was an acrobat, right? Flips and twists and jumping and running around on horseback. So she's mixed two dangerous things, horseback and flippy stuff. Okay? Whoops, one day, paralyzed. Young, beautiful lady, paralyzed. then she has to answer the question eventually, who am I? What is my real motivation if I can't do what I thought I was all about? So it's really, really intriguing, real kind of nitty gritty stuff. And I feel like a climber is similar to the lady on the horseback. Right. So, okay, climb way up a dead tree. That's like getting up on the horse. And then add flips. That's like adding chainsaw.
Yeah.
Add chainsaw to big, tall, dead thing and wind and whatever. There you are. You're the lady doing flips on horseback.
Every day.
Yeah. Day in and day out. And then you add things like communication glitches with other humans down below. You add whatever's happening at home to your psyche. You add inclement weather, heat, rain.
All the obstacles on the ground.
Yeah. And then even the vibe of the homeowner, like let's say the homeowner comes out
staring at you.
Yeah, or well they could stare. I mean you could like that.
Yeah.
But when they're like, hey, this wasn't part of the plan. Remember that one guy?
Yeah.
This guy comes out.
It can ruin the whole mood.
It was what video was that?
I don't remember. But after that conversation, things were different all day.
This guy came out and just buzzkilled the whole dang thing. And we were doing an impeccable job. We were lowering things gently down between the shrubs onto the ground so that we could carefully go in there and extricate them. You know, it was dialed. Okay, it's on video. There
was one spot in the landscaping.
I'll tell you guys what the video is.
Everything in that little 3 to 5 foot square.
I'm going to tell you what the video is right now because August Hunnicky is going into the third person. And he's going to tell you, when he goes into the third person, he's going to tell you that it was...
It wasn't that long ago, a couple months ago.
Dang, I do a lot of videos. Basic tree removal job. August Hunnicky on YouTube. Basic tree removal job. Me, Jeff, Damien.
I think we were all there. Well, maybe Adam wasn't there.
I think Adam was still on the paternity leave, but Wyatt was there.
Yeah.
So the guy comes out, and he's all, whoa, this wasn't part of the plan. Because and what's funny is we're like, plan? We've never made a plan in our lives. What are you talking about?
As we go.
Yeah, we don't. People ask me all the time, how are you going to do it? I say, well, I'm not sure, but when I get there, my body takes over and it does things for me. I don't have to know what to do. I just have to go to the place. That's why I tell people, show up. Just show up. For everything difficult in your life. If you show up, then you can intuitively figure out how to do things, but you can't show up if you don't go. So if you make it, I'm talking too much, huh?
No,
this is a terrible interview. This is horrible.
Easy for me.
All right. Let me finish this last point before we talk to Jeff. What was I saying?
Should just show up.
Oh yeah. Just show up. So yeah, maybe I was done. Well, shoot, good. That's a perfect segue into.
Just show up.
All right, just show up. Just show up, people.
Did Stedman show up yet? Is he on here yet?
Oh, he's there. I've seen his emojis flip-flopping all over the place. That's how you tell a Stedman post.
Somebody just donated.
Let me get to the video so I can find what's happening. Joshua Hazel from New Zealand, closed borders, and he sends $5 of New Zealand cash across the borders. He busted the border. What's up, Oscar? thanks, Joshua. Yes, Just Show Up was gonna be. It was gonna have like a beautiful like final punchline or some sort of hoorah ending that was gonna make it unforgettably amazing, and then I forgot. So this is Jeff Schroeder. Jeff works for me and he works for himself. Jeff just works. So where are you from, Jeff?
I'm from Northern California, Humboldt County.
Right on. So
Been in Oregon for about 5.5 years now.
5.5 years. Jeff came when Jeff first got here. He called me from probably from a YouTube, probably from a website.
You know what it was?
No.
I came up here and was living with my dad, and a few months went by, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna do tree work again. And I opened the phone book, and your name was the first one because August, A.
Mm-hmm.
And I called one other company. Jesse answered the phone on that one. But those are the first 2 people I called.
Mm-hmm. And then it turns out
and then you guys called each other, and it's like, hey, what's up with this guy?
Uh-huh.
And the rest was history.
I was the manager for that company. And I was hesitant to take people on because I had always been a contract climber, and I felt responsible for people. Like, I was like, man, if I say, yeah, come to work for me, then I have to be the guy to provide work. And I didn't take that lightly, and so I told Jeff, yes, we got a job for you, but you will have to work for 2 different companies. One, mine, who's a completely legal, legit, insured company, but I mostly did contract climbing work, and I just managed this other tree service, and it seemed like a conflict of interest. But since I was honest and didn't try to take his customers or anything or mention my own business to them, then it worked out, and I worked for him for years until finally I was like, this ain't working out because I need to leave something behind for my kids rather than build somebody else's empire. And so
And then I worked for him for years.
yeah, so then he worked for him, and he was working for him and me at the same time. And then I was like, goodbye to them. And we sort of found a way to divvy up the crew. And Jeff stayed with them. And then I made the deal with who took over management of that company to take Travis Barney. No, to take Joe. And they said, we'll take Travis. Well, I gave him first pick.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Abraham in the Bible. He says, all right, you choose. Which way do you want to go? And the other guy chooses he gave him first choice. I gave him first choice. They chose Travis, and I'm like, okay, I'll take Joe. Because we had two leads, and Jeff was apprentice. So the next day, Travis calls, their lead guy calls and says, sorry guys, there's a fire. I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. And they were like, what? And I'm like, well, sorry, man. I mean, you chose Travis because you thought he was going to be the most productive. And Joe is still a little bit newer, right? So this is too much information.
Is it?
Yeah, because it ends up with kind of hard feelings. Like, I was like, then they still wanted Joe. They wanted to go back on the decision and leave me with nothing.
Mm.
And he was like, well, you can climb. We're screwed. We have no climber. At least you can climb. I'm all, dude, I'm running a business here. So, yeah. So anyway, that was a little bit hurty in the feels. And
I didn't really know about all that. I was just
no.
going where I was told to go,
And it worked out because I made it on my own. I'd have been better off with if I'd have just said no. If I could go back in time, I would. I'd say, sorry, man, we made a deal. Go get yourself a climber.
Right.
And because Joe ended up migrating back to me anyway, we're like tighter than I don't know, one of those baseballs that's wrapped in leather. I don't know, we're tight. It works out. So Jeff, but what's cool about it is, well, I was building from my old crappy stuff and slowly getting bigger and bigger, better and better, I should say, not bigger and bigger. I was learning how to run my own thing a little bit better. And, well, that was happening. Joe was doing 50, 60-hour works training Jeff. And Joe could train Jeff in better ways than me. And Ranger, stop.
Yeah, we worked, 40 hours a week together for 4 years probably.
Yeah, so Joe took my background of more old school DRT, chunk things out, more climber confetti making type of things, production work I call it, and then he added to it all the newfangly SRT, climb on a uni, do this, that, and the other thing, all the things that Old Dog New Trick was harder for me to I could see the value of it and I loved it. I'd be like, this is an SRT job, I need to get the SRT guy over here. So, but I was slow to take on that stuff.
At first, he bought me a rope wrench and a hitch climber setup.
I did.
Joe bought me one.
Oh, that wasn't the first. The first was me setting you up on the zigzag.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different story.
Yeah, okay.
But
We're skip that one.
Joe buys me a rope wrench and a hitch climber setup, and that thing sat in the box for it sat in the gearbox for, I don't know, a couple months, and then one day he's like, "You're using this now," because I was still like taut line hitch, hip thrust.
Taut line hitch. Anybody out there heard that?
There was actually one tree that me and Joe did, a big oak tree, and he set my line for me, and I hip thrust.
Okay, Robert.
30 feet, and that's all I had in me. And it was a big, wide, spread open oak. And I finally got up there, but I was so tired by the time I got up there that, and it was out of my league. I told him, I was like, dude, this is out of my league. Like, I can't do it,
Robert gave this to you.
Oh, sweet.
He won it.
Right on.
And I see him in the comment section saying, can you give him the ale glass?
I know, I wish I could read all the comments.
You don't need. I'll tell you what they are. You just keep talking.
So yeah, I finally one day he pulled that out of the gearbox and was like, "You're using this. You're starting SRT today." And then that was it, And then after that, a while after that, I bought a uni. But I climbed on a hitch climber for probably a year before I got a uni.
And why do you like the uni?
It's universal. Because I'm not an SRT climber, I'm not a DRT climber, I'm both. I use both. I use the combination of both. I would say primarily SRT, but I like to be able to switch back to DRT without changing anything or putting something on or taking something off. That's the main reason why I like it. And it's a short system. It's not, you don't have a rope wrench up in your face all the time.
He likes to be able to go quickly from DRT to SRT.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a short. Oh, he just said that.
Yeah, it's
Never
small,
mind.
compact.
Yeah.
I like a rope wrench, but I don't like it flopping around in my face all the time. It always seems like it's right in the bad spot.
So.
And I like its midline attachable.
It takes up more room, yeah.
But it's probably not the smoothest ride you'll get. Zigzag with a
You know
wrench.
who can bomb out pretty good on a uni?
Rion?
I don't know about Rion. He's the zigzag.
You gotta have
Tether.
gloves for
The uni, I just can't get with it. I appreciate it and I understand right here why it's so good because it's a production thing. You can quickly put that thing on and off the rope and go DRT SRT in a heartbeat. But it is a bumpy ride.
It's a little chattery sometimes.
And
on
it
the
feels
crane.
a little unsafe.
Yeah.
Like there's been times where
If you have a really nice rope though, it makes a difference.
is it possible to fall with the thing? Like if you got bumped on the head and you were already headed down?
The only time.
Because don't you have to take a wrap on it?
Yeah, but it comes off. Like you could just let go, and it'll still catch.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big lover of it, but I promote it because I see people shine that thing like Jeff and but Joe can bomb out on it.
Oh yeah.
He's
yeah,
the
you
uni
can.
bomber.
Yeah. Gotta have gloves though, because you gotta have your hand on the rope. A zigzag, you can hold the metal. You know what I mean?
I somehow lost. Can you please tell me how to prune a jacaranda tree? I don't want to talk about that right now. Somebody else might. I did see a question here. How do you deal with mistakes? Broken fences, broken shrub, busted sprinkler.
First, you be honest and say you broke it. You don't try to hide it. I mean, you deal with it. However, whatever you got to do to fix it or make it right. It's never fun. It's never pleasant having to do something like that. But
Yeah, he's right. You go from what's that famous thing that happens to anybody who suffers loss? You go to from what's it called when you can't believe something? Oh, denial. You go from denial to anger to acceptance.
Yeah. I
And
see a lot of
the
people.
sooner you go through those 3 steps and get on with your life, the
Yeah,
better.
instead of blaming, or, or it wouldn't have happened if you would have done that, or
Yeah.
you see a lot of people do that.
Oh
When
yeah,
it's-
yeah. No matter how cool you are.
Obviously, it's their mistake, but they want to be like, oh, well, you ran it too far, or
That's why there's so many
Yeah.
laws. Is because when a mistake happens, the blame starts flying, and
nobody wants to admit when they're wrong.
or nobody, the whole world can't accept that terrible accidents can happen that just just suck. But you can't legislate every accident away. Anyway, except as soon as you can move on, then you have to put the mistake, whatever it is, if it's property damage, you have to go to the owner and say, here's what happened, and sorry, it's not part of the plan.
Some owners don't care. Some get mad. Some are cool with it.
Dramatic number of people are cool.
Yeah.
Huge number of people are super cool. And the ones who aren't, you can usually sniff that out in the beginning. They're like sort of waiting like vultures for any little thing. And if we can sniff them out, we won't work for them. They usually sort of rat themselves out during the bid process by being terrible humans.
Yeah, it's not worth it sometimes.
So, but yeah, if you break something, they need to be in charge of how it gets fixed. So, what else? What else should we ask Jeff? Swallow your pride. Coils tree service. Honesty will get you a long way. There are the ones that watch like hawks while you work. Yeah, more like vultures. Hawks are okay. I guess hawks could try to swoop down and get you, huh?
Guess it depends on who's watching too. Like sometimes I don't mind, and then sometimes it's like irritating.
I was
Yeah.
always, okay, Wyatt wants to know how you became so patient.
Wyatt's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
I don't know if it's our Wyatt. It says Wyatt Taboda, but it could be an
Yeah.
imposter Wyatt.
No, that's gotta be him. How'd I get so patient?
Yeah.
That's just my personality, man. I've always kind of been patient. I'm not the guy to scream and yell at anybody. You know, I don't know. It's just my personality. I've always been like that.
Well, I often wondered how he was patient too and super chill because he's a redhead, you know? And I have like all these stereotypes in my head about different.
You just assumed I was gonna be a certain way.
I figure if you're a redhead, you're gonna fly off the handle and just wreck the place at some point.
Not at all.
You're gonna just go totally. But he's not like that. He's not.
It takes quite a bit for me to get upset.
So much for stereotypes. Was Jeff's hardest lesson learned? As in everything. Kind of that one thing. This might get pretty nitty gritty. Because I probably know this answer.
Hardest lesson learned?
Yeah, like what's the most life-changing change you've come to, epiphany?
I don't even know how to word that. Like,
Gotta try to get comfortable.
everything changed when I moved to Oregon.
Yeah.
You know, and I moved here for a reason. And
You moved here to get away from.
I had to-
You wanted a clean slate. Is that it?
yeah, I had to get out of Humboldt and change my life. And you know, a series of things happened. I'm not going to go into that, but it wasn't fun and it wasn't planned. You know what I mean? And I had enough of it. So I came to Oregon. My dad lives here, and it was kind of like my escape route. It was like my last chance type thing. And so I moved up here, man, and started doing things right. And I think when I started working with you guys, I had no license. I had, you know, I owed $10,000 in fines to get my license back. I had nothing, man. Like, you know, and it took a lot of time.
I remember telling him he'll get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember the day so I had no license, but I was still driving, and finally I got pulled over by the motorcycle cop here in town.
Do you remember me telling you that you have to just buckle down and do what they say?
Yeah, so the cop tells me, I'm not going to tow your truck, but nobody else has a truck like yours in town. So I know what it looks like. Don't let me catch you driving again. But he didn't tow it, which was cool. And I was like, damn, I can't drive anymore. You know, and then I came and told you about that, and you're like, oh, you get it now.
Mm-hmm.
So you get it now. Like, you can't drive anymore. And I caught rides to work for a few months, and then I set up payment. I had to go to California and set up payment plans in 4 different counties, and to release the hold of my license, and paid all my fines I paid off $10,000 in a year.
Dang.
So.
See, that speaks of a pivot point in a person's mind when what seems like an unsurmountable or insurmountable thing just becomes a thing.
Yeah.
Like when I told him you have to just do it. You have to abide by what the cops are telling you to do and ride the punishment out and go through the proper channels to get reinstatement. That's how it needs to happen. So
guess-
the reason
I
I
guess-
said it is because I had done it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, done it. Been there.
I guess the epiphany I had was play by the rules now. You know, I got to do everything right. You know.
Didn't you just get a free of SR22 insurance recently?
Not 6 months ago or something.
So you got this, the wreckage of the past, kind of like it gives you consequences. Consequences are not reasons to give up. Consequences are just kind of proof that there's a certain amount of karma, or reap what you sow, or whatever you want to call it. There is a just balance that, I mean, grace can come along and make great things happen for you, just like a windfall of luck or blessing or whatever you want. But there is also, more often than not, there is debts to be paid, and you don't get out of that. You just need to get through it.
Yeah.
Like that octopus tree, we had to go through it. We couldn't go around it. There
Yeah.
wasn't no shortcut. So I know that stuff. I like that question. I do. Hey, Rion, who sells the attack? Is Rion on here? Are you on here, Rion? He is. Howdy, friends. Somebody's asking Rion a question. Sean hasn't been in trouble since 2009, been clean for 12 years.
Nice, right on.
That's pretty good.
Those slings are pretty sweet. The Rion slings.
Brian just bought us coffee. Thanks, Brian. I think you're keeping us well stocked with coffee. Well stocked. Trying to give my spine a happy place to sit. I'm gonna be better someday, guys. I'm happy that I got these problems. It's gonna be okay. So let's see. Let's think of a clever question for Jeff here. Ford, Chevy, Dodge.
I drive a Chevy.
Yeah.
Well, GMC.
Okay.
Same thing.
That's gonna make 1/3 of the audience happy. Of the Americans, of the patriotic Americans. Let's see.
I drive a GMC with a brand new windshield.
Oh, you got a new windshield already?
Yeah, today.
Whoa. Yeah, Jeff's windshield got nuked hard by a turkey flying out in the road. Has Jeff worked in the woods with his dad?
When I was young, when I was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9, I went with him to work. Before 1990, before they passed Measure 138. They're falling old growth. I went with them a few times. I got some video footage of it. Pretty sweet. But I only went a handful of times. My dad was in the burl business too, and we'd always be down at the beach getting driftwood and stuff like that. So.
My dad was a truck driver. How
Yeah.
I ended up in tree work is not. I'm lucky.
What kind of truck driving? Freight or?
He hauled fuel.
Yeah.
So he had these double pup fuel trucks that he would haul on Alaska icy roads. Yeah, but it ain't about my dad. It's about Jeff's dad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 1990, all that logging stuff stopped. So he got into the burl business after that, and
does he still do that?
he'll build a table here and there every once in a while.
I got some burls,
Yeah,
quite a few.
if they're already slabbed out, he likes to finish them.
Oh, I see. What is your best advice for a 16-year-old aspiring tree climber?
You asking me or you?
Not me. No, asking you.
Man, stick with it, because if you start that young, you got a lot of good years, you know. I would say
16.
probably figure out what's the biggest and baddest company in your town, and go work with them.
Yeah,
Find a good mentor. Find someone you want to be like, you know, and like jump in their back pocket for a couple of years, you know.
Wyatt says, one thing Jeff told me that stuck was be around what you want to be like.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not always easy to do, but it's helpful if you hear that and you get it in your head and you have some kind of game plan. Because oftentimes we're just yarded around by life and we just go wherever it seems to unfold to. But
I used to hang around people I didn't want to be like.
16.
And where did that get me, you know?
I can't imagine being 16. Like, you guys, you don't know how much of a late blooming, terrible, dumb person I have been in my life. It's to be 16 and asking for advice. I didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome because.
Yeah, that's great.
I wasted a lot of years, you know.
I felt like I was invincible. And, okay, check it out. I leave home. I immediately get into a bunch of wild drama. And then I go out commercial fishing and I start making ridiculous amounts of money. Right out. As soon as I left, I'm like, oh, life is easy. What? You just spend all your money on whatever you want. Because you can get more. It's not like a thing. You just go get it. You just go
fishing for a couple weeks.
Yeah. But I didn't realize how the people I worked for were such highliners. You know, 90% of the fishermen, 10% of the fishermen were catching 90% of the fish, and I was with those guys, thinking, yeah, you just go get more money when you just work for it. I decided, if you go to college, you'll be stuck with student loans, but if you go to work, you'll be making bank while all those guys go to college. But you have to do something risky in order to get paid a lot. And so I was like, risky? Heck yeah, since I'm invincible anyway.
Yeah. This is nothing.
Yeah. I wasn't smart like this person. He's asking questions. He's asking the right questions.
I wish I would have got into it at 16.
Yeah. Boy, I should have. I mean, I kind of did. I mean, I started logging when I was 18. So there's a period of time. Well, these guys were tree fallers from Gresham, Oregon, and they worked in Alaska, and I was working with them, and they were doing the falling, and they were doing the bucking and stuff like that, and it was like, I was a total just a gopher. But, yeah, I'm talking about myself too much.
I think my first tree job was in 2006. Line clearance. That's where I started.
Oh, for Davey?
For Davey.
Mm-hmm.
Worked for them for a few years and then got sidetracked for a while. But I always knew I liked it.
You know what's interesting is Davey, the guy that you ended up working for here in Grants Pass, the other company owner that we refer to, he got started working for Davey. Yeah.
My brother worked there, and then my brother-in-law worked there. And my brother-in-law's dad was one of the big high-time bosses or whatever, so I got in really easy. And it was a cool job for a while. I mean, they're pretty slow paced style of tree work, but it's a nice bar.
Somebody asked when are they going to be on the website. I don't know. We have a few, but we don't want to see. We sold them on the website as pre-order for a while, and then the guy who was making them for us, there are people who bought these and did not get them for over a year.
Damn.
And I cannot ever let that happen again. And so we're going to have quite a few made before we make them go on the website again. This is like the OG too. This is, for some reason, the yellow one was really popular when it came out. This is like the one Jaden Anderson used and Trevor Ahern and those guys. So we think that this thing will be pretty loved once we finally put it up there. It's Cerakote. Yeah, we'll have them for Husky too, although we don't prefer to do that for certain reasons. Nothing against Husky, but it's Cerakote. It's way more bomb than the enamel or whatever they put on bars. This stuff is pretty nice. It's just swag though. It's not really necessary, but it's kind of fun. People who are all into that tree life are like we are.
They sell pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. These things, we sell them for $150, and it looks like offensive to see the price tag, even to me, but oh my goodness, if it was easy, we'd have them up there by now. I mean, it's hard to go through because we had to learn the whole Cerakoting process, and it ain't easy to take a bar from strip it down and end up with something this clean.
Yeah, then if you mess up a couple, it kind of...
Yeah, you're back to the drawing board over and over. Get the sandblaster out again. These are nice. We wouldn't sell them unless they weren't just perfect. But no, they're not available yet, but they will be, and then we'll go from there. We can do it for Echo too, Nick, but we don't have any Echo bars. There's a friend of mine on here somewhere named Brian, and he could probably get us some. But yeah, we'll worry about that later. Coils Tree Service. My father worked for Davey for 11 years. Scott Peterson thinks it should be fluorescent. Those fancy, so it'll go along with fancy tree clothes. What is with all the fancy tree clothes? I've got, some of them have been sent to me, like by Fanner and stuff. But I could never get into too much the European look. The whole...
Arbor Tech makes some pretty flashy stuff.
Yeah, do they? Yeah. I think they're all kind of inspired by the European stuff. Mm. Like, I don't know why they like it, but people in Austria and places like that, they like to have...
You want some ice water or an NA beer or something in that glass?
Oh, I got a drink right here. I got some Applebee's.
Empty glass.
Thanks.
Grandma tried. Hey, I'll take one. One of those bubblies out of the pantry.
All right.
Sure. Oh, thank you, sir. He's only here for the guest.
He's in the other room watching on.
Oh, probably. He's watching you rattle that empty glass around.
Yeah.
Go, Grandpa. This guy put in 2 or 3 years for Asplin.
That's who's here now. Asplin's got the contract now.
Davy's not a franchise. I don't think so. Not like Monster.
Davy's like, they're nationwide.
They're just a big company, kind of like Asplin. Yeah. I don't think they're like Monster, which is a little I understand what they're trying to do, but I don't know if they have the right love behind it. I think they might have more of a money motivation behind it. It's just a vibe I'm getting. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you. He's got one of the OG original Monkey Beaver color t-shirts.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You know what I wish I still had? I gave it to my brother. The original Monkey Beaver, the black one, has that logo on it. It says "Don't Get Dead."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I gave
Yeah.
that to my brother, and now you haven't made any sense then. So.
Well, I didn't, because I always felt like the "Don't Get Dead" thing was kind of coined by
Who was that?
well, it's on the shirt.
Somebody says that all the time.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm blanking on your name right now. It was a guy that I talked to on Facebook back when I was on Facebook. Would say "Don't Get Dead." It's not like he invented "Don't Get Dead," but he like turned it into like a thing that, and so we made like 30 shirts, I think.
You gave them out at Arborfest.
Yeah, and gave them all away, and they've never been back. They have the Monkey Beaver dude, black and white, and they say "Don't Get Dead."
I seen Travers got one.
And then they have his name on them somewhere. He was a meme guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like,
I can't remember who it is.
who was it? You guys out there know. It wasn't Ray Ray. It was another guy. Kind of a real kind of burly dude. A real like uke man. If you know what that is. Can't remember his name right now. So give me a question, YouTube, for Jeff. Oh, Hillbilly says that Davey is private and they're worldwide. Okay, this guy wants to talk about your clone 200T.
Oh yeah. Who is that? I was wondering.
Kevin Chambers. Curious to hear his thoughts on reliability and power compared to the original.
So I bought one. I paid $289 for the power head, and I put a lightweight bar on it, and it wasn't oiling. I put a still oiler on it, and it runs really good. Good power. Really, it's comparable to a 200. But the reason I don't use it all the time is, for some reason, I don't know if it's just mine, but it'll burn through a tank of gas in like twice as fast. I don't know if that's because it's new, or I'm not sure why it does that, but other than that, power-wise and all that, it's good. I took all the blue off of it and replaced it with orange. I like it though. What's that?
I super chatted myself $2
Oh, nice.
while you were talking about the Chinese the Corona steel.
I think it's a good saw for like somebody that's just starting out and doesn't want to spend $700.
Come on, everybody, thank me. My goodness. Where's your politeness? I'm cheap, huh? I'm super cheap. Somebody asked, what's your favorite friction hitch?
If I climb on a hitch, it'd probably a distal.
Distal, he says.
Matt Cornell, whatever hitch Matt Cornell climbs on, I like that one too. I don't know what it's called.
Here's one. What do you do for fun?
Lately, I've been building axes.
Oh, do you have that axe handy?
It's in the chip truck.
Do you want to go get it?
I'll go grab
I'll
it.
entertain him while you go get it because it's worth seeing.
Hopefully Buckin's watching.
Yeah, Buck and Billy Ray, if you're out there, you gotta be proud of Jeff. He's got the axe bug, and he got an axe head on eBay. It's like the axe head that Billy Ray made me, and he got a really good fit on the handle and the head. So I think you guys will like it, and I think Billy Ray would even be proud. Billy Ray gets the mean fitmanship on his axe heads. I don't mean to imply that there's no other person, because I've had other people send me beautiful axe work, handle work. But Jeff looks like he's onto it. Oh, Treediculous says that he saw it on Instagram. Portia, I'm going to ask him that when we get back. How long did he have the Corona steal before he tested positive? Did you go up to Portland? Is that a question for Jeff? Thank you, Mountain Man. Billy Ray hangs a great axe. He does. I have 2 of them. You guys have probably not seen the other one I have. You've seen one. And if you were paying attention, you've seen the other one. And you're about to see it in my next video. Joshua, my back is pretty hammered. It's pretty rough. 150 people out there. That is amazing to me. 150 human beings listening to a guy who never made it through college. Wow. What am I teasing you with, Randy? Oh no, yeah, you've seen it. You've seen it. It's a nice... Oh, Michael Snow. Michael Snow knows. Boy, this guy knows. It's a hatchet. And I won the hatchet from Billy Ray, even though he was probably hoping somebody else would win it, because, you know, it would look like odd if I won it. I mean, because we're a little bit close. I mean, we talked regularly, but I won it fair and square. And so he had to give it to me, even though I was friends with him. Thank you, Bullion Cubes. The College of Life, exactly. Man, oh man. I got some funny stories to tell you guys, but I've been just a little too stove up to go into story mode. I thought it'd be just as good to have Jeff here talking. He's such a solid climber, such a solid person. And I say that because of the things that he overcame. You know what I mean? When you overcome adversity, that's how you get the legacy, the good legacy. All right, don't just show it to him. Don't just show it to him.
Use it?
No, you gotta show it. You gotta learn how to build up.
It's like a little peek, real quick.
Yeah, show it to him real quick. That's it. Now show him the grain and everything.
Can they see that?
What is that noise?
I don't know. But the
Do you hear it?
Yeah. The stump grinder key was left on.
Uh-oh. Must be a kid playing with a toy. That's a pretty decent grain. What I like about this axe is the handle is substantial.
I'm not good at burning it, so like, I'm not consistent with the burning.
Show them.
Yeah, I don't know if they can see it or not. Probably.
So he's saying he's being all particular about his burning. He wants to get better at the evenness. The handle is pretty decent. Like, it's not perfectly straight up and down there, but it's pretty good. And the size of it, the short handle is sweet. Like, this thing ain't gonna rattle your spine because the handle is substantial. Look at his fitmanship in there.
I like the Jersey style axe head. It's my favorite.
Is that what this is?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's kind of classy. It's like it's original. It's
And the handles from Whiskey River axe handles. You can't get a good handle here in town. You can get one that'll work.
it's super good. I bet you. It reminds me of a Billy Ray fit. But I'll bet you see that. Tiny bit of space right there.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I bet you Billy Ray would have that
Oh,
handle.
yeah.
He'd have that figured out.
I dwindled on that handle for probably 2.5 hours.
It's got a little bit of pitting.
The Jersey style is hard because, what do they call that, the cheek right there? They're really narrow.
I think the cheek is here.
Well, whatever this part is.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody will know on there.
Yeah, what's that thing called? What's it called, guys? Gals?
And some of them point. This one's rounded, but anyway, it's real narrow. And, and on an axe head, they're smaller down here anyway, and then wider up top. So you got to get that file down pretty good before you can even like start to get the head on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, I don't know. There's a lot to it.
No, Casey, it's not a hatchet. It's a heavy head. How much does that head weigh?
I think it's a 3.5,
How long is the handle?
24 inches.
So, most of my career, I used what was called a boy's axe, and it was the short handle and the heavy head that I liked, because when you were dealing with a codominant tree or something and you had no backswing, you could still get a pretty good swing with a shorter
little
handle.
strokes.
Yeah, or you got, like, we're always doing tree work next to a fence. There's a fence right behind you, and you don't have a lot of room to move the axe, and the shorter handle. I'd get a handle if I got a handle with a longer length, then I would cut it off.
Yeah.
But I think his axe is perfect.
That's what
Love
I've been
it.
doing in my spare time lately.
Jeff, what's your real ideal chainsaw, Still or Echo?
I primarily use Still, but I was recently thinking about getting a 2511.
Snowman says barbaric.
Barbaric,
I
yeah.
didn't do the Billy Ray voice.
It's deadly.
Wicked, deadly. It's deadly. Friends.
I had an Echo, like a medium size. I don't remember what the number was on it, but it was like a medium size saw for a while. But yeah, still mostly. Not that I'm not against. I got a big Husky. I got an old 2101. It's 100 cc's. I never use it.
A lot of heads get on upside down because people see that and they think, how is
Oh
that
yeah, they
gonna-"
try to put it in the fat end first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Double bits. Some double bits are so symmetrical that you can't. That's the first thing I look at. What hole's smaller than I know that's the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Bullseye! Okay, Jim T says that part is called the ear.
The ear.
Is that true? Jim T, you wouldn't mess with us,
Sounds
People in the live comment sections could have me believe in just about anything. If I didn't know, we could start calling it the ear. Maybe it's not even the ear. Maybe it's like the the hip or something. Cody says, I think I might have your email from a tree climbing competition. A little while back he asked if you went to a tree climbing competition a couple years up north.
I went to one in Ashland last year.
No, that's not what he was mentioning.
Up north, what, Portland or something?
Rion wants to know what your favorite climbing device is.
My favorite is the Uni, and then my secondary is a zigzag with the Rion tether.
Cody, I haven't been to any climbing competitions.
My third would probably be a hitch climber.
Where's that Rion Rounds tether? Since we got him here. Right there.
Oh, ask Rion if that's the only, if he makes a short one.
No, Mike, it's not the cheek. Mr. Haneke, the cheek, I think, is well, maybe it is part of the cheek, but I thought the cheek was like, you know, you can have an axe with kind of wider cheeks, or you can have the cheeks really, really thin and
Some are beveled.
yeah. But then when you're this far back, is this thing still the cheek? Or is this, like the guy said, an ear?
Ear makes sense.
Don't know. Oh, it's a shoulder now. It's a collar.
Tell Rion to make a shorter tether.
Okay, Nathan, what do you think would be a good giveaway?
And I'll use it all the time.
It's the neck. This is just like all the back advice I've gotten on here. You get so much that you don't know which one to go with. This is the Rion Rounds tether. This is what I like to use for SRT. You can get these on my website. And no, it does not come with the rope wrench. You have to get that separately. I mean, when you buy a tether for a rope wrench, you buy the tether. This is a tether. Assuming you have a rope wrench already or you still need to get one. This is a tether to be used with the rope wrench. I love it because nothing is as smooth as a zigzag SRT. Nothing I've ever seen is that smooth.
But it's not midline attachable.
That's what people say.
Or I'd use it all the time.
But it sure is worth it when you go. I mean, you could not even know how to burn out of a tree fast. You could be like a total noob. And a zigzag SRT with a rope wrench and a stiff tether will make you look like a hero. Just totally intuitively. You can glide in like an eagle, grab that trout. Well, you can't leave again, but you can grab the trout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give Jeff one more question and then go so that my family, I can get back to them. Are you going to Buckenstock 2020? Unlikely because I only get a certain number of trips a year. Maybe Jeff. We'll see what happens with the world, huh?
Is it in the U.S. or is it in Canada?
Indiana, probably. I don't know. Thought it was in Indiana. How long you been climbing, Jeff?
This time for what, 6 years? Like I said, I was at Davie in 2006, but
Yes, we have yew trees, Mike.
I didn't get serious until this time around. So 6 years.
How long after you got the Corona steal before you tested positive?
Right away.
Oh no. Move away.
The Corona song? Oh, because it's from
I
China.
called it that. I'm so sorry. But
I'll let you use it.
Didn't
I'll let
I?
you judge it. It was the one you used the other day.
Yeah?
No, I'm joking. That was the saw Rich built.
Nobody calls Jeff ugly. I just banned that guy forever. Goodbye, Dallas. Well, near-death experience. Just give us one.
Me? Near-death experience?
A near-death experience and an embarrassing moment.
In tree work?
I don't know. You're the one
dead.
answering.
I've been in a pretty bad car accident. I don't know if any of you guys know where Confusion Hill is on your way to San Francisco on the 101. The whole mountainside slid out in front of us,
Wow.
and we hit it. And big boulders were still coming down through the windows, hitting the side of the car. And I was in the back seat of a little CRX with a German Shepherd, and that dog just started going crazy. Just started rooting around, and that was the worst part of the wreck. This dog was skidding out on my legs, and
He wanted out of there.
he wanted out of there, man. And, no injuries, but it was pretty scary.
How was the dog?
The dog took off, got out and took off.
Yeah, that was it?
Mm-hmm. Dog left.
Okay, give us an embarrassing one.
Embarrassing, man. Let's see. I don't know. I tacoed one of those little metal sheds with a top.
You tacoed a metal shed.
And the homeowner was gone. I was doing this job on the side, and it was a cedar top, and it nosedived, and then it flopped. And the butt hit a metal shed, tacoed the whole thing. And the homeowner was gone, and I was like, oh man. So I finished what I was doing, and I get down and I go over to the shed, and I get inside of it, and I just start pushing up on the part that's V'd in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I got it all pushed back out. And as I was like finishing, the homeowner pulled up. And it was an old shed. He didn't care about it. It was one of those deals where the homeowner didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
He could have made a big deal out of it and said, I
Mhm.
want my $800 or
Mhm.
whatever, you know, but
Yeah.
he said he was going to haul it off to the dump anyway.
Oh.
But it was embarrassing because he pulled up right as I'm pushing the big dent out.
So it looks like you're trying to
I'm trying to fix it.
cover
you know?
it up. Mm-hmm.
And but I was honest with him and told him what happened, and it was pretty embarrassing.
Oh man, I think the most embarrassing thing I did. My live chat just went off, guys. I can't see it no more. But when you're young and you want to look cool, and there's some ladies around, and you're walking across the parking lot, but you're kind of insecure a little bit because they're laughing or whatever, you know, and you think maybe they're laughing at you
You're
or
wondering
whatever,
if,
trying to look really cool, and you go up to your car to drive away, and you've got your little bit of swagger and everything, but your car has 4 doors, and you get in the back seat.
You jumped in the back.
Now you're stuck there under
Act like you're looking for something.
the glaring eyes or the whatever phantom feelings of being judged that you had, and you're in this predicament where you have to either get out and get in the front or climb over the seat in front of you and leave. That is embarrassing.
Something else
But
embarrassing.
it's all in
is
your own head, so.
Showing up to a job in a really janky chip truck out in Cave Junction, and you got to reach out of the door to open the handle to open the door, and the thing's overheating, water spilling out everywhere.
And a bunch of cans fall out when you open the door. Clank,
And the
clank.
homeowner looks at you like, oh my god. And it's just a wooden box, plywood box over the top of an old Ford, you know?
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's not as bad as it looks.
That was pretty embarrassing.
I did one time when I was drinking. It's a lot of years ago, but I was at a barbecue, and me and my ground man his name was Jeff. His name was Jeffrey Todd.
That's why you always call me Jeffrey
Yeah,
Todd.
yeah, and so I always call him Jeffrey Todd. But so the neighbor came over to the barbecue because he had heard from the owner that I was a tree guy. And she had this giant weeping willow, just like humongous, you know. It was a twin, and each side was probably 42 inches in diameter. And it had split. And she was super in love with the tree. And I'm like, well, it's a willow. You can't kill that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I used 128,000 pounds of pressure. And I went around, and because the tree was laid on the ground in both directions, and I cut the tops all off. And then I winched it back together and put a big chain around it. I stood her tree back up. I wasn't an arborist. And no, I'd never do that. But I stood her tree back up, and she thought, this guy's the most amazing thing since sliced bread. And she told everybody. Well, anyway, we're at the barbecue, and her neighbor comes over, and he wants me to look at a tree. And I'm like drinking. I'm there with the beer. And I'm saying, oh, yeah, oh, we'll do this and that and everything. And he's all, well, when can you do it? And I'm holding a beer in my hand. And for some reason, I didn't even have a watch on, but I was all, well, and I went.
Poured beer
and
over.
acted like I was looking at my watch that I didn't even have, and I just dumped beer all down my chest.
That's awesome.
And I told the guy, and we won't do that when we come either. But I never heard from him again.
Never called you?
He never called. So he was a smart man. So hey, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us, YouTube people. I hope to be all better and walking like a normal person soon and not all screwed up. And any final words, Jeff? Huh? That's like always a kind of a on the spot question.
I had a first today. First time I ever said no to a tree was today.
Ah. Yeah, Jeff said no to a tree.
It kind of hurt my pride for a second,
Mm-hmm.
but the reward wasn't worth the risk. So
The reward was not worth the risk.
dead cottonwoods,
And he said no.
and I had a rig and spar next to it, but it was still
It was a little
it
far
didn't
away.
seem right. I had a bad feeling, and I said no. So.
Uh-huh. There you go. So we'll leave you with that. The reward was not worth the risk. That is a good one to end on. Thanks for hanging out with us on YouTube on this day of April during the Corona times. Have a nice night.